Hi guys, welcome to Improved Garage. Today we are going to be testing some tar removers. Tar removers are something that are historically a little hard for me to test because I don't drive through tar all the time like an idiot. I decided that I was going to try to figure out a way to manufacture a test for some tar removers. And that's based on the fact that, you know, I have Garage Therapy, I'm working through the line, they have a tar remover, but I also have Mile Deep and Yum and Innovacar all have tar removers as well. I have my old standard of Tarx, and then Tarx is no longer allowed in California, so I also have the new low VOC version of Tarx. So I want to test all of them out. And I thought, you know, if there's a way that I could simulate driving through a bunch of tar, or getting it all over your car in some way, well, that would be cool. I was in the garage last night, and I was like, I have this can of Henry Stop Leak, which is an asphalt-based, tar-based roof patch product. I thought what I could do is I can take some of this and get it, get it on my sponge, and then just kind of spread it. And this is tar, and like I said, it is asphalt-based, so it should be pretty similar to the stuff that we see on the roads. Now, I don't pretend to be a chemist. I don't read SDS sheets. I don't do a lot of that stuff and try to pretend that I know stuff that I don't. There are things I'm an expert in. There are things that I'm not. So just gonna do a nice streak all the way across. I'm sure people will say that this isn't the same and that I'm an idiot, whatever. But I think you guys get the point. So this is like an old tire dressing applicator I just happen to have. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on here. We're gonna let this dry. It'll take a bit for that to happen. So we'll probably go away and come back. And then maybe we'll do another streak on the other side. I might need a little bit more for the test. And this is just a junkyard hood. I want to do it on my actual car. So we might introduce some marring here, but I'm just gonna play around with all these. We'll see how they work, which ones work the best, and which ones I would buy and why. But I'm guessing they're all going to be fairly good. Tar removers in general work fairly well, but so let this dry and then we'll come back and play around with it. So we're ready to test, and I actually just did 2 tests and didn't realize that my camera wasn't recording, so we're gonna start over. First off, we've got Garage Therapy. Garage Therapy comes in this nice 16-ounce bottle. The label is easy to read, shake well before use, wear safety equipment, use in a well-ventilated area, don't use in sunlight, allow to dwell for a couple minutes, use a short pile microfiber towel. Pretty easy to use. So we're gonna start off, I'm just gonna spray this section. The Garage Therapy bottles have great sprayers. These are spray blast sprayers. I like them a lot. They're adjustable, they don't leak, they work very well. So it smells like an iron remover. I don't exactly know how to describe that. It's kind of smells like fuel or oil. Like, you can definitely tell that it's a petroleum-based product. There isn't anything on this towel except some of the stuff that I wiped up on the first test. So we'll just let it dwell here for a second. One of the things that it does say is that it's body shop safe. And what I'm noticing is that it's leaving the panel like squeaky behind, which is kind of cool. I think that a lot of these, like Tarx, for example, leaves a lot of residue behind. It's kind of, I don't know. It's oily. It's got lubrication left behind. So let this sit for a second, let it break everything down. You can see these runs are nice and dark, but as you can see, just wipes right off. So that's Garage Therapy. Obviously, for a little bit of cleanup, we can just spray a towel with it, and we'll just go over the area one last time. All of that haze and brown and coloration is gone. And like I said, we're dry this off, we're left with a squeaky clean panel. So pretty interesting. Now, next, we're gonna go to Tarx. So I have Tarx here in this spray bottle. This is just a press-all sprayer because this is what I've been using for a long time. So I refilled it with that. You will see a little bit of pink in the bottle. It's not, I at one point used Geon tar in this bottle. So there's a little bit of pink kind of dyeing that happened to the bottle. So, but this is CarPro Tarx. Now, like I mentioned, Tarx is kind of interesting in that it's not available in the United States or in California anymore due to some VOC regulation changes. California classified tar removers under like glass cleaners or something like that, and the amount of some chemical that it contains was too high to, it's now considered like a volatile compound. So based on that, it's not the easiest thing to get here. So they came out with a low VOC version, they call it, and that's what that gallon is that's over there. So we will test that out in a little bit as well. But I still have some of the original Tarx from back in the day. And there are, you know, it's your responsibility for knowing the rules and following the law and doing all of this stuff. There are some places online where you can still buy Tarx and they will still ship it to you because they don't realize that they shouldn't. So spray a little bit more on the rag. Got a little bit more here. Now Tarx has a smell to it. The smell is definitely stronger, and there is like a kind of a slickness that's left behind. You can see. So you know, here we've got our squeaky clean. Here we've got a little bit of slickness left behind. Tarx has a pretty simple instruction: spray on dry surface, allow to react for 2 to 3 minutes. Wash car with shampoo or power wash. Avoid leaving on car for more than 7 to 10. Avoid spraying on acrylic paint. Avoid drying on plastic surface. Do not use under direct sunlight. So, pretty simple, normal instructions. Let's go on to the next one. Let me see here. Can I flip this over? No. All right. On to the next one. Let's try Mile Deep Resolve next. So I haven't used any Mile Deep products yet. They're going to be the next line that I test. But I figure while I'm doing this, I might as well try this one out. So same thing, spray plas sprayer, nice adjustable, nice bottle. Instructions: shake well, do not dilute, ready to use, apply single coat, allow to dwell for up to 5 minutes. Temperature dependent, gently agitate if required, rinse off with high quality pressure washer. Do not allow to fully air dry before washing off. Take additional care in direct sunlight. You don't use on plastic. Do not wash microfiber cloths containing product in a washing machine as damage to rubber seals may occur. All of that. So none of these say Body Shop safe besides the garage therapy. So I just want to call that out because it is a differentiator. I don't know how much it matters to everybody, but again, lots of bleeding. Just get all of this, let it sit for a minute. As you can see, this is pretty thick. The Mile Deep smells a lot like Tarx, that kind of petrochemical smell. Just okay. It's kind of slick, squeaky clean. Yeah, I mean, the garage therapy definitely leaves less behind than the others so far, but not bad at all. Worked fairly well. Let's try Yum. Now Yum is having trouble getting the labels to stick, and that's something we've run into before with the press haul bottles. Like this label has a bunch of bubbles and stuff under it. It's because the tar remover seeps through the plastic. So Yum actually has a decent scent. That's interesting. I don't remember a tar remover with decent scent before. Takes a fresh approach on paint decontamination, 3-in-1, dissolves tar, organic and inorganic combination using a blend of non-traditional natural ingredients. Not corrosive, no harsh raw materials, gentle on paint, yes, strong against contaminants, based on clean and natural ingredients. Agitate while dwelling on the paintwork with a dedicated Yum Cars paint microfiber towel to increase the speed. So, pretty simple. Same spray plas sprayers. I didn't talk about the CarPro. CarPro includes the sprayers from Tolco from the factory. So we know those are good too. So put a little bit on there, let this dwell for a minute, see how it does. Let it run. You can see we've got a lot of this heavy brown coming off. But again, it's fairly thick on there, so you can see how thick this tar is, but obviously like a little bit of agitation and breaks down no issue. So let it sit for a minute. That was a pretty clean wipe off, honestly. So from a user perspective, I actually like this because it smells good, and the words natural and plants derived and all of that make me feel safe. So this is pretty sweet. All right. Let's go on to the next one. So next we'll test out a Innovacar. So Innovacar is another brand that I haven't done yet on the channel. I have everything that they make. Their bottles are kind of neat. They're clear, and they're like, they feel like prescription. They come with these instructions that are like a whole booklet in a bunch of different languages and stuff. So it says, use it pure and wait for it to react 2 to 5 minutes. Rinse with plenty of water. Treat again with a damp microfiber cloth. Do not allow product to hot or delicate surfaces. Do not allow it to dry. Pretty much the same thing. So pop the lid off of this. These are like a pill bottle. You have to like push down and turn. Ooh, that actually smells good. It smells like pepperminty or something. So Innovacar uses these white sprayers. They're the same as Clean Tool. I don't dislike them. They're just not adjustable. So your spray pattern is what they are. It's on off, but I think they work fairly well. I'm going to do this side because I've got a ramp here, so it's going to run down if I spray there. So then we'll do that one with the Tarx low-VOC. Okay, spray that. And this does smell good. It's like grape or something. That's expected. It's probably not something that you should like choose to smell, but yeah. So same thing, give it a little bit of agitation and this thicker stuff comes right off, but it is pretty thick, of course. So give this a little wipe. Came out good. Give it another spray. All these spots come right off. So maybe this is requiring a little tiny bit extra effort, but not much. And the scent is actually good. So it's pretty interesting. Never had a tar remover that smelled good, but now I've got 2 of them kind of right in a row, Yum and the Innovacar. So pretty solid. Next, let's try out the low-VOC Tarx. So like I mentioned, Tarx is going to come in a Tolco sprayer. I'm just going to spray it directly out of the bottle here because I don't have a bottle of this mixed up. and I'm not quite ready to use it. So like I mentioned, this is the, we'll say safer. I don't know that it's safer. It just isn't illegal in California to buy this. So let that sit. We'll use a fresh corner. You can see it's breaking down pretty well. It's actually doing a decent job. So not too bad. Again, little agitation there. It kind of comes right off. I've always liked Tarx. I used it for a long time. You know, it works well. Bought it from OG originally, but like I said, in California you can't get it now. So, but House of Rags has it. So if you're not in California, you want to buy it from House of Rags, you can get Tarx. It's the low-VOC version there, obviously. So now let's try a different test. So we're just going to spray the panel and we're going to let it run. And I'm going to try to do it pretty quickly so that we can go A to B. So we'll do 1, 2 sprays. 1, 2 sprays. It's like that IK sprayer might be dying. Tarx does kind of kill sprayers. Mile deep. This might be a little unfair. I think the spray plast sprayers might give out a little bit more product. 2 of those. Okay. Try to be as fair as we can there. So there we have them all. Approximate areas where they were, it was like here to here. Maybe I'll make a line there, 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 and there. So we can get an idea. So, interesting watching this. Tarx down there, the low-VOC Tarx actually seems to be doing a killer job. Check that out. So I try to keep the thickness pretty consistent, but that's pretty nice. And it was making it to the bottom about as fast as these ones were. Let's do another single spray. 1, 2, try to be fair. 3, that was 2 sprays because I can't count. 4, 5, 'So yeah, the GT seems to be doing really well. Like you can see how much is coming down here. The mile deep, you see just the pressure from the spray, like took a large chunk off. It's pretty nuts. And then the Yum and Innovacar seem to be doing a pretty similar job, maybe slightly behind. And then the Tarx though is the real surprising one. It's interesting because that's, you know, the low VOC version. So there's a single swipe there, 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 and a single swipe there. So yeah, I mean, the low VOC did a killer job. I think the Mile Deep did an excellent job as well, the regular Tarx and the Garage Therapy. These two seem to be slightly behind the Yum and the Innovacar. I don't know that I'm necessarily upset by that because their user experience I think is way better and all of these were super effective. So, you know, honestly, like, do a couple sprays, wipe that right off. I don't know that I have any part of this towel that isn't destroyed. Do the IK sprayer really didn't do regular Tarx justice because it seems like it's not staying primed. Mile Deep works really well. And then we'll come back to the Yum. Not quite as effortless, but again, that nice scent. And then the Innovacar. Wipe that right off. Got this heavy pretty well. So those two, clearly not quite as effective. The sprayer sucks. I don't know what it's from, honestly. But did a fairly good job. Still, I think, yeah, the GT is really good. Well, that was interesting. So just we'll leave those here. Mile Deep, Garage Therapy, Low VOC, they seem to be the three best performing. Low VOC, it must have had the most liquid. So I really think that the Garage Therapy is doing a better job of making stuff melt, but the Mile Deep is only slightly behind it. So it's kind of interesting. We end up with a lot more working time with the towel, where you're not just like leaving chunks behind. It seems to do a better job breaking down. Put up 6 different tar removers. I guess first off, if you're asking me which one to buy, I would probably buy the one that matches the rest of the chemicals that you're using, honestly, because they're all pretty close to each other. They all worked very well. I could see different reasons to buy each one, so I'll kind of go through that. But I think there's a reality where that was a pretty extreme example of what you'd use a tar remover for, and all of these were able to be effective in doing it. Some just required a little bit more agitation and a little bit more dwell time than others. So to start off, we've got Tarx. It's kind of one of the originals. CarPro product, been around for a long time, works very well. Like I mentioned, original Tarx isn't available in California, but I tested the low VOC variant and it worked very well. They come with a Tolco sprayer. Tolco sprayers are fine. They're adjustable. They work well. You know, their bottles are decent. I don't really think there's any reason why not to buy Tarx. You just, like I said, can't buy regular in California, but the low VOC seems to work just fine. It is a little bit greasy when you're done with it. Like you end up with a little bit of kind of a, I don't know, like a greasy residue when you're done. Greasy is probably not the way to describe it. It's like if you took gasoline on a towel and you like wipe something off, it's kind of like that. So if you're using it on things like electronics, removing stickers, that kind of stuff, I don't love it for that because it ends up leaving it like a little shiny and greasy. But it seems to work very well. On to the next ones. We'll do the 2 European ones next. So Mile Deep and Garage Therapy. I know that Yum and Innovacar are both European too, but just bear with me here. So Mile Deep, Garage Therapy, those smell like an original, like a Tarx or that type of product. So the user experience is, you know, on par with those. Garage Therapy leaves the panel squeaky clean. Mile Deep seems to be slightly more effective. The spray, you can see the spray is like just moving all of the tar around when it hits the panel. That's pretty cool. They're both using the same sprayer, and we had a little bit different experience with each one. So I think the Mile Deep was probably the most effective of all of the products that we tried. The Garage Therapy was very close. You know, there may be 1 and 1A. They're honestly pretty close, but they both did an excellent job. I would probably lean towards the Garage Therapy because of the body shop safe factor and the fact that it leaves the panel squeaky clean. If I want to protect a panel, I'll protect the panel separately. So I kind of liked the GT and how that worked. GT also has a little bit better instructions, a little bit more information. Not that Mile Deeps are bad. There is still good instructions on the back here. I don't think that they really need much more, but you know, GT really has their instruction game on point. I did end up with a little bit of residue kind of on the outside of the bottle. If you squeeze with these sprayers, they do kind of like pee, so you just have to remember to like lock them. This is one of those products where like if you put this bottle in sunlight, it'll pee all over your cabinets, so I always just remember to tighten these up when I'm done. The tar removers do tend to kill sprayers. They just do. The Pressols, the Tolcos, some of the others I've ruined before. You saw the IK sprayer that was kind of acting up with Tarx. It's just one of those things, it kind of destroys. So I separated these two because they both have a good scent and I think a better user experience. But it seems like that user experience comes at the sake of performance. We ended up with a little bit less performance, a little bit more agitation required, a little bit more dwell time required. You know, this one smells like grapes. This one doesn't smell bad. You know, like these, they're not something that you should be smelling, but in general, when you're using products, you end up smelling them like they're aerosols. They go into the air. So I think that having something that smells good isn't necessarily a bad idea. And, you know, I can appreciate that a brand puts the effort into it. The Innovacar bottle is solid. I don't love, if you could see here, there's kind of like little scratches all over the bottle because the bottle is, I don't know, just very prone to scratching. The instructions are super solid. The sprayer is, you know, it's not really adjustable, but it works very well. I've used these sprayers before. I don't hate them. They don't fail. They're just not really adjustable. What you get is what you get with the spray. Yum, again, spray plast sprayers, which I really like. They works very well. They seem to be having some issues with their bottle glue getting eaten, which, like I said, I've run into before with the Pressall bottles and OG. It's something when the bottle isn't fluorinated, the product can kind of leach through the bottle and you end up with like this label is kind of peeling off. So, and this is a new product that I just recently ordered and it just came in a couple weeks ago and all it's done is sat in my cabinet. I didn't get any on the outside. It's kind of slowly dissolving its own label off. So that is kind of a bummer where, you know, it's an imperfect thing. So if you're somebody who wants something sitting on your shelf that looks good, you know, over time that's going to degrade. If you're somebody where you put it in a different bottle anyway, I don't know that you necessarily care. I would probably lean towards the Innovacar. I like the scent a little bit better. But, you know, all in, looking at all of these products, if I was going to buy one, I would probably personally buy the Garage Therapy. I think that actually did the best. I think Mile Deep would be my second choice, and then a Innovacar would be my third. Yum. The low-VOC Tarx, I think did very well. I'm like annoyed about the California thing, to be honest with you, which makes me want to knock the CarPro stuff down a little bit, but they perform very well also. So I don't know. It's kind of a, I feel it's a spectrum, right? You've got on one side these products that are safe, high user experience, but not quite as effective. Then you've got these ones that are highly effective. This one's body shop safe. And then, you know, in the middle, you've got your Tarx, which is like an OG, works very well, good product, smells like crap, but super effective. I don't love the residue that it leaves behind. I think that there's just a little bit too much of it, and that's, you know, just my honest opinion. But yeah, so that's all I have to say. Like I said, there will be links in the description if you are interested in trying out any of these products. I think every single one of them you can buy on the House of Rags. You can also get CarPro from a lot of other places. Sky's the Limit carries the OG carries it. Yum you can get in some other places as well. But I would check out House of Rags. If you use IG10, you'll save 10%. It gives me a 10% kickback, which is nice. It helps me to buy all these products I bought with my own money. None of them were sent for me for free for testing or anything like that. The whole Garage Therapy line I bought, and I've been working through, if you've been watching my other videos, I only have 5 products left to test with them. But yeah, anyway, thank you for stopping by today. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you're having a great day.